Well, we've gotten set up out in a hay grazer field right on the edge of a cotton field. A buddy of ours has got a bunch of deer problems with his crops, so he invited us to come out and see if we can't help him out with his deer population. Well, where we're sitting, there's just not much to film. We're tucked in this hay grazer pretty good, so just not gonna be able to show a whole lot. But before we have any activity, I'm gonna see if I can sneak and stand up and kind of show you what we got going on. So let me get this camera turned around. Alright, we got on the edge of a cotton field that has some hay grazer. We actually bumped a doe when we were coming in here. She was bedded down. So anyway, this is what we got going on. Here's Mr. Jeremy Moore. Kick back, relaxing, chilling. Anyway, we're about 50 yards apart. Hoping we can smoke some doe tonight. Well, I'm not sure if that was on camera, man. It's getting almost too dark. I had just enough light to see my peeps hiding my pen. Had a doe come in. I think I got a pretty good hit. Looks like she went down just, 40, 50 yards away. So we're going to sit here for just a little bit. Kind of give her time, make sure she's expired. I don't want to get out there and bump her.
Oh, come on, man. Well, as you can see, I didn't make the perfect shot on that doe. It was a little far back, ended up being a liver shot. The two things that got me was I was so focused on where I was aiming and I was committed to my shot. She actually took a step right as I was pressing on the release, and it just put her in a bad position. And she compounded that problem by ducking, which also pulled the liver a little forward, and it was just a perfect bad shot. And then I compounded the problem by being impatient and not giving her enough time for a liver shot before I went and recovered her. So just end up a bad deal. You hate doing that. You hate losing a harvest. That's not the elite way, but if you bow hunt long enough, it happens. I mean, we just make mistakes. So I had to wipe my tears and pack my bags and get the kids ready to get down for their hunt. Wakey, wakey, girls. Wakey, wakey, girls. Morning. Wakey, wakey, sunshine. What are you doing? I heard there's a deer hunter and a 35-year-old broke person in this trailer.
Alright, it's Friday, November 11th. I got one of my best friends here with me. I got my youngest son, Luke. I was able to bring him and Seth both this weekend. We were hoping to do some bow hunting and crossbow hunting, but evidently FedEx decided to put my label on someone else's box, and they have no idea where the crossbows are. So we ended up coming down here, and we've got the Thunder Sticks with us this weekend. So see if we can't get these boys their very first deer. So we're gonna sit here and hang out and see if we have any activity. Listen, there's the scrape. Now go watch it. He'll go smell the ground. And he'll start pawing at it. That is cool. There's the scrape seed hanging in the tree. Where's he going?
He's right there. I see him.
They just smell it. Now you and I both peed on that scrape today. That proves that human pee, deer do not know the difference.
Yourself, Michael. Tell me what happened.
I shot a deer today.
You shot a deer today.
Uh-huh.
Show us what you got, buddy. Ready? Oh my goodness! Look at that! Look at that, Seth. Your first deer. Well, dude, I'm proud of you.
You'll shoot whatever.
Are you hooked?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deer hunter for life?
Yeah.
All right. Well, now the dirty work begins. We'll see if you're still hooked in about 10 minutes.
Guts. All right, see how the guts are poking out now? All right. What you do is you stick your finger in here. Do that. Yep.
Hi, your dad. Dad, can we keep the horn? Dude.
We saw the buck, and it was walking over the fence, and then Papa told me to wait, and then it jumped it, and then it walked toward us. It stopped, and then I waited until it turned his head and turned his body, and then when I shot, I didn't see because I went like that, and then when I looked, he just went boom.
Squirted there. Oh. Which way is coming back at us? Alright, well, we got set up at Saturday afternoon. We had a lot of activity this morning. Unfortunately, there was just nothing that my little man wanted to get. He just has his heart set on a 6-point or bigger for his first deer. So I support him in what he wants to do. So we're just going to sit here, hang out. We saw about 9 deer this morning, which was pretty good. So we were actually getting up to leave, and this little spot come in, so we had to kind of hang out for a while. So anyway, we're going to sit back and see what Luke can do. Yeah, take him.
Is it long?
Me.
We just got here, and this bike just showed up about like 3 minutes ago. And there's just a bunch of deer out here. We're trying to at least get sitting over one, and we're just playing the patience game now. It's not on.
Okay.
It's not working.
Can you see him?
Not working.
He's working on that tree. Can you still see him?
No.
Okay.
I was about. What?
Hang on. He was over there rubbing on that tree.
I was going to shoot, but the trigger wouldn't work.
All right, well, that's going to finish up the boys' weekend. We're going to spin the camera around and let them tell y'all all about their weekend.
I shot a spike, which is as big as a full-grown doe, which the head's back in the truck, which you really can't see it. But yeah, I had a good weekend. I'm excited. It's my first deer ever, and we will let Luke take it. Oh, I was hunting with you know, the cameraman of this hunt, and I did get some mature doe, and there was one 6-point. I was about to shoot it, but then it walked off. Well, basically the drum got jammed, and I was about to shoot it, and I pulled the trigger, and this gun jammed, and I pulled it, and it wouldn't pull, so we had to jack with it, and then finally we got it working, but the deer was gone.
What's one thing you learned this weekend?
Never hunt in the same spot for the whole weekend.
Yeah, we kind of burnt that spot out, didn't we?
Yep.
All right, what about you, Seth? What's something you learned this weekend?
That always, like, don't judge a book by its cover. I was thinking, like, man, I kind of like hunting anymore since you don't get anything. But this changed the whole thing. Like, I'm hooked now.
Yeah, that helps. Well, we did have a good weekend. I would definitely tell you adding a 9 and 10-year-old to your program if you're trying to film is very, very complicated. I stayed with Luke the whole weekend. Seth hunted with his granddad, which is my father, when he got his spike. So unfortunately that was not on footage as far as the harvest, but we got a lot of after footage. And then he teamed up with my brother and my nephew. Luke was just determined. He wanted to stay with me, and he wanted to hunt that same spot and get this 6-point that he had saw. Unfortunately, his gun did jam. He's using a gun that's from about 1952. It's a 30-30, a Stevens 325. And the gun's just old. All the grandkids have killed their first deer with that one except for Seth. And we were going to let Luke do the same thing, and the safety just, it needs to be repaired. It's got a lot of play in it, and you put it on fire and it'll fall back down to safety and it just won't shoot. So unfortunately that kept Luke from getting his first deer, but he's already hooked. He'll continue, and we'll just make sure we don't have any firearm issues next time. Had a lot of activity down there on that 88-acre place. We had a lot of younger deer come through there. The boys had a lot of opportunities to kind of pick what they wanted to shoot. So it was a good weekend. Had a good time.
And I know from talking to Kelly, he was excited. He was stoked about Seth, his oldest son, getting his first deer. It's going to be his hunting buddy for life now. He's hooked. So I know they had a hard time trying to get Luke on a deer. He wanted a 6-point or better. He set his goal and he stuck to him. So good for him. So in the next couple weeks, I'm sure they're going to try to get Luke on a good little buck. So we'll be looking forward to that episode. So, well, let's go see what my hunt did. Hey guys, it's Friday, November 11th. This is the evening hunt. We had a great encounter with a buck this morning. He's a 10-point, possible drop time. I couldn't really tell. It was way too early. Anyways, we're looking for him to come back. Try to put an arrow through him this evening. So y'all stay with us. Well, as I decided it was time to put an arrow through that 10-pointer, my neighbor decided it was a good time to shoot. So you can hear the bang in the video, and the deer scattered. And luckily for me, that 10-pointer ran behind a pretty good tree and some shrubbery, and it gave me a good time to go to full draw and see if we can get the job done. Meh.
Alright, so I just shot a 10-point. I put the arrow right in his shoulder. He took off with my arrow. I don't know how much penetration I got. We're gonna let it sit for a while. I don't know what to expect right now. Dang it.
Well, before I got out of the tripod, I reviewed the footage, and I didn't like what I saw. I decided I would back out, give him some time. So I went back to the Ranger and headed back to the camp, and all of a sudden, about 800-900 yards away, I saw my arrow laying beside the road. You know, it's dark outside. The Luminox was glowing bright green. You couldn't miss it. So jumped out, looked at the arrow, and there was 4 or 5 inches of blood. That's about it. A little bit of bone in the broadhead. No blood around. Had about a quarter-size blood. Tried looking for blood about 20 yards or so and couldn't find anything. So pretty certain it was just a muscle injury. Hit his shoulder blade, and he's gonna live. He's just gonna be in a lot of pain. So the next morning, Gavin and I go down by the river, and he's after a doe, and I go ahead and take my bow because I'm gonna try to get a couple of turkey for Thanksgiving dinner.
That's just 20-yard pin, okay? Wait till she's perfectly broadside. Okay, easy. Okay, don't move. Do you have a shot? Hold on. Now. Did you get her? I'm not sure. She's right there. Man, went right underneath her.
Well, I'm pretty sure Gavin got buck fever, or doe fever in this case. He plumb shot right under that doe. We took the crossbow back to camp, checked it to see if it was sighted in, and 20-30 yards it was just driving tacks. So unfortunately he got excited and made a bad shot. You know, it happens. He's that close to deer, and you get that buck fever, you know. So what you can't see in the footage is I shot 2 turkey after he missed his doe. I plumb screwed up, I guess. Forgot to hit record on the camera. My GoPro as a second angle was giving me trouble, so I didn't get any footage on it. And even the GoPro on my stabilizer, I didn't even turn it on. So there's no footage of me shooting these 2 turkey, but luckily we've got the after footage of getting the turkey.
Billy.
got Thanksgiving dinner.